Hey there, just about to jump into the home studio tour. I just wanted to share a little thought with you before we got started. During the production of this video, I very sadly and very unexpectedly lost my father, who left us just a few short days ago. Decided to press on, and it was almost finished, so I thought, I was thinking about him a lot actually during the production of this video because I wanted to share it with him. And for those of you who know me personally, the name Jerry Kaminsky is almost always the first comment on my videos, and that was my dad, probably the biggest fan of this channel. Really going to miss him. But thought I would honor him and dedicate this video to him. This light glowing behind me, this beautiful stained glass light that's illuminating some of my most prized possessions, that was a stained glass light that he made for me a number of years ago. And this guitar in my hands, this was my dad's. I remember him jamming Elvis's King Creole on it, and he gave me this guitar when I started showing interest in playing, and little did he know the the addiction that it was going to cause. And but also, I don't want to forget, I'm actually shooting this on what is Mother's Day, and I want to wish my mother a difficult but very happy Mother's Day. We're here with you. We love you very much, and you're very much a part of this. But I did want to dedicate this video to my dad, Jerry. And if any of you want to leave a comment for him in the comments section, would really mean a lot to me. And without further ado, let's check out my home studio.
My back.
Hey there, I'm Dan, the self-proclaimed lonely rocker. Welcome to this episode of The Journal, the place where I rant or enlighten on topics related to the creation of music. In this episode, I'm letting you into my studio. I have never done a home studio tour before, so why do one now? Since I publish a lot of videos to try and help my fellow home studio enthusiasts, I thought I'd share what I've got going on in here, and if I can help give you some ideas, and certainly I'm happy to answer questions at any point in the comments, so certainly don't hesitate to do that. The other reason I'm doing it right now is I actually cleaned my studio. What you generally see on my videos is in that direction towards the desk, but this side of the studio is generally a fucking mess, and I cleaned it up yesterday and it looks pretty good. It's probably going to last for about a minute, so I thought this is the one chance that I could get this studio tour done. By the way, there's a piece of equipment at the back of the room that I've never shared in any of my videos, and it's integral to the creative process, whether it be video or audio, and so I'm going to share it with you in this video. So why don't you come in and check out the Lonely Rocker's lair. Okay, welcome to the studio. I just want to give you a quick little overview, and then I'm going to show you the different facets of the room. First thing, this is a home studio first and foremost. I don't have any expensive gear hiding somewhere like outboard gear and things like that. And the process of building the studio has been a slow one. I've built up different components and different things over time. I have been playing music for years, so a lot of my guitar gear, my amps and stuff were here, pedals and that kind of thing. My main function for this room originally has always been video production. In fact, that's how I make my living. Hopefully some of you have noticed the extra effort I put into the productions here on my videos here on my YouTube channel. So that's primarily why I have the studio in the first place. But my first love truly is music, and my desire to keep making music has grown and grown. And in the last few years, I started adding audio features to the room, and that's really where the home recording studio and mixing studio really has evolved. So that being said, when we bought this house, we did renovate the entire basement, and I didn't soundproof this room. That's important to note. I didn't do any soundproofing. I've done a lot of sound treatment. My channel is well known for my acoustic panel videos, and we'll talk more about those later. You can see them around me. But I didn't do anything special inside the walls. It's not something that was in the cards at the time that we renovated the studio. But a couple things that I did do, and I wanted to mention, if you are renovating a basement and dedicating a room to a home studio or a future home studio, two inexpensive things that I did that have really paid dividends. Number one, power. I ran 2 dedicated lines to the breaker panel into this room. So the electricity that's in here gear is not shared by anyone else or anywhere else in the house. I've got one line running to the front of the room where the desk is, and another one goes to the back. So all my audio gear is plugged in here. My video production gear, my lights, things like that are plugged in into the back of the room. So I have a lot of good clean power and a lot of outlets around the room. That's really come in handy. The other thing that I did is I ran some audio lines in the walls. I've got two lines coming up behind my amp, and there's a jack plate with 4 XLR behind my desk. This way I can patch the amp, and if I'm miking it up, I don't have to run cables around the floor. It goes through the walls, and I can patch into my preamp, which I'll discuss later. The other two lines go into my bathroom. There's a bathroom adjacent to the studio, and you can throw sound blankets in there and set it up as an isolation booth. I've actually thrown my cab into the shower. Got some interesting sounds from my guitar amp in there. That was kind of fun. So it's not a dedicated isolation booth, but it's out of the room, and I can easily run audio there because I've got the lines, and they're hiding in the vanity under the sink. This room actually was the back side of the basement of the house, and it's kind of like a bunker because there's cinder blocks all the way around. Even the partition wall between this room and the rest of the basement is actually a cinder block wall with an opening, and I put a sliding barn door just to kind of keep it kind of rustic. Anyways, that's the overview of the studio, so let's jump in and take a look at the different features of the room. As I mentioned in the opening, I didn't soundproof this room, but early on I noticed I had some crazy reflections in here that were messing with my mixes. No matter where you're mixing, it's critical to control these in your mixing environment. So I built these acoustic panels myself after doing a ton of research. The corner panels are 8-inch thick traps, and I put 2 clouds above my desk. I spent just over $300 to make all of these, and they've made a massive difference. I've got videos on how you can do this for yourself. Links are in the description. Next up is Guitar Corner. Guitar is my main instrument, and I also dabble on bass. Here are a few of my guitars. This Suhr Classic T Deluxe Limited Edition is brilliant. It was a milestone birthday acquisition. My Gibson Howard Roberts Fusion has been my main squeeze for years. I've got a few different flavors depending on the needs of the track. I run my guitars into a Marchall JCM 900 50-watt high-gain dual reverb head into 2 Marchall 4x10 straight cabs. A home studio nightmare though, so I recently added a 2-notes Torpedo Captor 8. This allows me to take a direct signal from my amp, bypassing the speakers completely and running line level into my computer, and then using speaker IRs in the mix. It runs on 48-volt phantom power, so I keep it patched into the second jack, which is connected to input 2 on my preamp. More on that in a sec. Following the signal flow, I have a little bit of outboard gear. From the jack plate behind my desk, it feeds inputs 1 and 2 on my Art Pro MPA2 preamp. This preamp is not expensive, and it gives you a lot of bang for the buck. This is the limited edition reference series version that comes with 7025 tubes, which are lower noise versions of the 12AX7s normally installed in these units. As I mentioned, my Captor 8 is patched into channel 2, and I have the phantom power engaged to power it. The preamp then goes through this Art Pro VLA2 2-channel compressor. I like having hands-on control on the way into my DAW. Everything passes through this bit of analog gear on the way into the interface. That's how I like it. I record bass direct through these 2 units and can even drive them a bit to get some saturation. For my computer, I'm hanging onto this Mac Pro trash can like grim death while it's still running. Those new Mac Pros are expensive. All of my production drives are Thunderbolt. A few are SSDs, and the bigger AV drives are in the cabinet. There is also a small Arturia keyboard controller that I use to play simple keyboard parts. The MacBook Pro is mainly used as a utility computer for secondary tasks. I rarely use it for recording. Now let's head over to Command Central, the desk. The outputs from the compressor goes into channels 5 and 6 on my Focusrite 4 Pre Thunderbolt interface. This is actually an 8-channel interface. The 4 front panel jacks pass through the Focusrite preamps, and the back 4 inputs are direct ins. With my 2-channel preamp, I currently have 6 active inputs. I've got 2 sets of headphones, a Sennheiser HD 598 CS, and a Beyerdynamics DT990 Pro. I use this little Behringer headphones mixer to control my headphones, and a set of Harman Kardon sound sticks and subwoofer for different referencing options. I don't mix on these. My studio monitors are a pair of Yamaha HS7s. The big feature on the desk is the Qcon Pro G2 DAW controller with one EX G2 extender. This gives me 16 motorized faders plus 1 motorized master fader for amazing hands-on control of my DAW. My studio officially felt like a studio when these arrived. And no desk would be complete without a few knickknacks and a nod to my biggest musical inspiration. Oh, and I mustn't forget the famous Suhr Super 55 that appears in the background of most videos. I have to say, I'm quite surprised. Hey there, I'm Dan, the self-proclaimed Lonely Rocker. This is something I gotta see. I use this for most of the voice work in my YouTube videos. For software, I'm running Logic Pro 10 for the audio side. For video editing, I'm running Avid Media Composer with Symphony color correction. Avid is more often used for broadcast and feature films. Along the side of the room, we get into my accessories. My pedal board sits here. Some highlights include my Joe Bonamassa wah pedal, full-tone OCD, and Line 6 DL4 delay modeler. It's all controlled by the Carl Martin OctaSwitch programmable pedal controller. On the shelf, I store a number of my audio and video accessories, microphones, action cams, lenses, and a Tascam portable audio recorder. I use this in conjunction with the Canon 7D I used to shoot all of my episodes. Well, quickly, I just wanted to introduce you to someone. This is the Lonely Rocker body double. One of the challenges of shooting your own videos is focusing the camera on yourself is a little difficult. So this guy steps in for me just for focus, and then kick him out and I take his place. He's a little better looking, but he doesn't speak well on camera. Further along the wall sits a small Roland electronic drum set that can connect to my DAW via MIDI, 2 acoustics and a classical guitar. At the back of the room, I keep all of my lights, tripods, and my handy charging station for all of my batteries and devices. This drum set is sort of famous. Years ago, my production company shot the first 2 music videos 3 days grace release. This kit appeared in the video for Just Like You. And here's another nod to my music video production days, a 2004 Much Music Video Award for Best Video of the Year for the production we did on Finger 11's One Thing.
That's it. Another friend I want to introduce you to. Come here, buddy. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Oh, Bigsby down. Roll over. Roll over. Oh, it's a good boy. This is Bigsby, my prized PBGV. For those of you dog lovers, oh yeah, it's a good boy. PBGV stands for Petite Basset Griffon Vendine. It's a French purebred hunting dog, very rare in Canada. And the reason I show him, he's definitely a factor in the studio because every time I'm about to record a good take, a voice take, he's always barking. Right, buddy? But we love him so. And I just thought to give you a little introduction to Mr. Bigsby Brown.
And finally, that piece of gear that I've never revealed on my channel. This makes everything look and sound better. Well, a piece of gear that no studio should be without, and that is a massage chair. When you've been sitting at the console, when you've been sitting at the desk for 8, 10, 12 hours and your ass and your back is just killing you. Oh, that feels so good. Well, I'm going to veg out for a little bit, but I hope you've enjoyed this tour. It was a lot of fun. If you have any questions at all, please let me know in the comments. I hope I've earned a subscribe. And if you're new to the channel, I've got lots of stuff on here. Well, you just saw my home studio, but I cover off all kinds of different things here on the Lonely Rockers Journal. We've got I Don't Have a Band. We've got all sorts of reviews. Oh, that's a good spot. All sorts of review videos and all kinds of cool stuff. If you really want to support this channel, I am on Patreon. So the link to everything I've discussed is in the description below. And above all else, I hope I'm going to see you again in another video. Now I'm going to chill out and enjoy my massage. See you next time.